Another major new for 2021 coaster has been announced. This one probably came as a bit of a surprise as Luna Park Sydney is getting a major update with an investment of over $30 million with 9 new rides including Big Dipper, the park's new Intamin Hot Racer, which will be the world's first launch single rail coaster. They will actually be getting 3 new coasters in total, so we'll be talking about all 3 of them today, including my initial thoughts on Big Dipper. Before we hop into the video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more coaster news coming soon. Now let's get straight into it. Luna Park Sydney is a fairly small riverside park that is actually very old and has been operating since 1935. The park's only coaster right now is a wooden wild mouse. They've had quite a few attractions over the years, but one of their main ones was actually an aero custom looper called Big Dipper. So the name for this coaster will be a tribute to the old aero looper. As I said earlier, they'll be adding 9 new rides including 3 new coasters, which will go in a very compact area. I heard that they will be removing almost half their current rides for this expansion, so to me it sounds more like an upgrade than an expansion, because they aren't really adding onto the existing park. The main rides they look to be getting other than Big Dipper are what looks to be a Gerstlauer family coaster, a giant frisbee ride, and a kiddie coaster. I'm anticipating that the Gerstlauer family coaster will be a clone of Rewind Racers. The coaster will be a shuttle coaster, and the animations make it look very similar to that ride. That should be a good little family coaster, nothing too special, but a solid addition to a small park. Kiddie coaster looks very basic, with just one helix. It looks kind of similar to the Zamperla gravity coasters, or the Mine Vagon model that we've seen at Liseberg and Hansa Park. The other main attraction is what looks to be a Zamperla Frisbee. I think it'll be one of the smaller models because the area is so compact, but it actually looks like it could be decently sized based on the animations that we've seen. This will probably end up being one of the best flat rides in the park. The rest of the rides will just be run-of-your-mill kiddie and family rides, so that should help fill the gaps from the removed rides. Now it's time to talk about the entree of this edition, Big Dipper. This coaster caught the eyes of many when it was announced, and this ride is very unique and should provide a good ride experience for those who are lucky enough to ride. Just for starters, this has probably got to be up there with Boardwalk Bullet for one of the most compact thrill coasters in the world. I gotta give huge props to the design team because they used every inch of space possible to their advantage. I've heard that this park had to deal with noise complaints, which is a bit concerning because single rail coasters are known to be loud, but they may fill the coaster with sand, but that might not do too much to solve the problem, so we'll have to see how they try and tackle some of these problems. The park gave us some off-ride animations and a POV, so we have a good amount of information to base our analysis off of. They told us they'll have a max speed of 44.7 miles per hour and there will be 2 inversions. The highest point of the ride will be the non-inverting loop. The stats won't be crazy. The RMC Raptor clones have a max speed of about 52 miles per hour, but keep in mind that they have a little bigger footprint than this coaster will have. It'll have 2 launches technically, but one of them is a boost in the middle of the ride, so it'll feel like a speed up. It has 2 inversions like I mentioned, which will be a sidewinder and a corkscrew respectively. The trains will only hold 7 people, so the capacity will be quite low for this coaster. I suspect that they will have multiple trains, but that's just a guess. I don't think the lines will be crazy long for this, as I'm guessing that attendance numbers for this park aren't huge, but you never know. Speaking of lines, the queue is actually in the middle of the ride, so that should make some really cool places to get some video of it. A lot of Big Dipper is actually on top of a building, so that should give you a reference on how compact this park is. Now let's take a look at the layout. I'm guessing this layout will be based on intensity and pacing. There's not too many airtime moments or hang time moments. We all know how the pacing of Raptors are really good, so I'm guessing that the pacing will be the strong suit of this ride. I think that there is a lot of difference between this and the Raptors. This already seems like more of a family thrill coaster compared to the Raptors at least. This will be launched, and the layout is a bit smaller and the Hot Racers aren't too focused on airtime like the Raptors are. Intamin is obviously trying to take RMC's idea and change it up a bit to find their own niche for it. I think that the identity of the Hot Racer will be different enough from the identity of the Raptor where both companies can be successful. That's just how I see it. Also, another observation that I made is that Big Dipper looks like an adjusted model of the Overdrive model released by Intamin during the summer. It's definitely not the exact model, but they are fairly similar to each other. The last thing I want to talk about is that there's not only competition between RMC and Intamin, but there's also a lot of competition between the parks in Australia right now. Australia just got DC Rivals, which looks to be one of the best coasters in the world, even though not many people have been on it. SeaWorld is going to get a big wooden coaster, and Dreamworld is going to get a blue fire clone, and now we have a single rail coming to Luna Park. So Australia is slowly rising up to the top of the list of countries with the best coasters. It's definitely going to be a country to keep an eye on in the future, and Luna Park Sydney will definitely be a park to keep an eye on, especially since there's not too many people in America that'll get to head out there. So those are my thoughts on the new Intamin Hot Racer coming to Luna Park Sydney. This is a very interesting story that came out of nowhere as far as my knowledge goes. What do you guys think about Big Dipper? How do you think the Hot Racer will compare to the Raptor? Do you have any thoughts on the other rides coming to the park? Make sure to leave all those thoughts down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear them. Make sure to leave this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more coaster news coming soon. But for now, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.